Browns, not a great game in Pittsburgh, 27-14 loss to the Steelers. And the game probably wasn't that close. Jameis Winston threw a couple of touchdown passes, threw a couple of more interceptions. This is from Pro Football Network, grading each quarterback's performance in Week 14. Jameis Winston, D+. He has improved the Browns' offense, but the bar was extremely low after Deshaun Watson's performances. However, he has yet to prove he should be the starter for the team in 2025, and the Browns have a lot to ponder at quarterback this season. Kevin Stefanski earlier today announced that Jameis Winston will, in fact, remain the starter at least this week as the Browns get ready to face the Kansas City Chiefs.
For me and for us, we're just going to continue to do everything we can to play better. Obviously, I think we can play better on offense. Certainly, as a team, we can play better. But really, the focus is making sure that we put our guys in position to find a way to win.
Quick follow-up on that. Is there going to come a point at all maybe that you might want to take a look at Dorian for the future, or is that really not in your line of thinking at this point?
Yeah, my line of thinking really, Mary Kay, is about Kansas City and this week. That's where I'll really focus.
With that, let's welcome in Ashley Bastock, Browns beat reporter for the Plain Dealer, cleveland.com. And Ashley, it's kind of tricky because you want to judge Jameis Winston. You want to, there are folks that want to get a look at DTR. It doesn't project because the offensive line play isn't great. The run game isn't great. So this season has been such a mess. Basing any decisions on what happens the last few games of the year are, it's a challenge, I guess.
It is. I mean, just because this team right now at 3-10 out of the playoffs, I mean, I know today Kevin Stefanski used his line that he always uses, right? That they're focusing on trying to find a way to win. I think when you're 3-10, that's just really no longer the reality that we're living in terms of expectations for this team. So really, for me, if it comes to them making a quarterback change and deciding, hey, we're going to start Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I think you make that decision because you want to see what Dorian has, because this quarterback room, there's so many questions in it that go beyond Deshaun Watson. It is a room right now with questions from top to bottom. You not only have to figure out who you're going to want as your starter next year, if Deshaun is going to be able to come back in some capacity, but what those backup roles look like too. And I think with Dorian, we've really only seen him in game situations where he's kind of been thrown in at the last second. Obviously, there was all the uncertainty last year when Deshaun first injured his shoulder. He found out he was starting that first game against Baltimore, which was a disaster on pretty much all accounts, about 2 hours before the game. So he did not have a full week of prep, a full week of them preparing the offense for him as starter. And I think it may be worthwhile to do that at some point. Now, I definitely don't think that is this week against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs have been, I think, more susceptible this year than they have in recent years. But in theory, this would still be an upset if the Browns were to beat them this upcoming week. I think that defensive front is really formidable, and I think you might have some opportunities to start Dorian in the coming weeks. I would look at maybe starting him against the Bengals, who obviously they're a team struggling in their own right now, or even starting him in the finale against Baltimore. We don't know what the Ravens are going to do in that game. We don't know if they're still going to be battling with the Steelers for the AFC North crown or seeding in the AFC playoffs is in some capacity, and therefore if they will play their starters. I think even if they do play their starters, though, that is one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. So I think in one of those two games, I would be curious to see if they will make the decision to start Dorian. But I think that would be the reason you do it. It's not necessarily because, we think Dorian's going to give us a better chance to win this game, because that's not really what matters in the long term. What matters is you as an organization, as a team, getting that clearer picture long term of what your quarterback room is going to look like.